Hey guys, the Fire Brothers here, it's just me, and today we finally got the reveal for the Bumblebee movie. We waited so long for this, but it's finally here, and I'm gonna cover it. Oh yeah. So, I'm gonna be talking about the things you probably missed during your viewing of the trailer. I'm not gonna show footage of the trailer because I don't wanna get copyrighted by Paramount, so go watch it right now, then come back to this video. You might miss some things on your first viewing. I'm gonna be showing images though, so don't worry. You're still gonna have a visual of the things you missed. Okay, so we're gonna begin with something that doesn't appear in the trailer, but is heavily implied. It's that this movie is not a sequel to The Last Night. Now you're probably thinking, oh, it's a prequel of course, because I mean Bumblebee, Starscream, and everything. It's obviously a prequel. No, it's not a prequel. This is actually a reboot. Now Hasbro a while ago, they took off Transformers 7 of their movie roadmap, so meaning they scrapped Transformers 7. So the continuation to The Last Night, to the Michael Bay franchise, it's done. The Michael Bay franchise is done at this point. The Bumblebee movie, it's gonna start its own franchise. It's not gonna be pure Bumblebee, it's gonna kickstart the Transformers reboot, and we're gonna have a more G1 focused reboot. There's a lot of G1 influence in the trailer. So think of this as a soft reboot. There's elements from the previous universe, the Michael Bay universe, which are still present, like Sector 7, Bumblebee's design, and maybe some aesthetics here and there. But at the end of the day, it's different. It's a new timeline, a new universe, something different. So this means that basically the movie has stakes now. It's not like, oh, it's a prequel so I know what's gonna happen. No, this is a reboot so you don't know what's gonna happen after this. Anything can happen. Which I think it's a smart move by Hasbro, getting rid of the Michael Bay universe and starting over, and starting fresh again to, you know, win back the fans, the critics, with that first movie in G1 feel. So smart move by Hasbro, but now you know that it is a reboot. Now, the trailer starts with this black figure. We don't really know what it is, but I'm assuming it's Bumblebee. You can see that the silhouette does match some similarities to the new Bumblebee design. And it looks like he has just arrived on Earth and they're making it all dramatic and stuff. So meaning that in this movie, we might see Bumblebee's first arrival to Earth. This movie takes place during the 80s, you know, to capitalize on that G1 nostalgia, which I'm all for that. But something that I found really curious is that they used the line from the first movie that a man doesn't choose a car, the car chooses them, and you know, stuff like that from the first movie. It's basically trying to go for that first movie feel, those first movie vibes, which the first movie in my opinion is the best movie. But this goes back to what I first said, that this is a reboot. There are some elements from the first movie, and the reason why we're gonna see a lot of elements from the previous franchise, the Michael Bay franchise, is because, well, Hasbro cannot just reboot the universe right away and change everything. Think of this like the X-Men Days of Future Past. They wanted to reboot the X-Men but not entirely, so they did a soft reboot which changed the timeline, changed certain events, kept some characters the same, kept some things the same, changed a lot of things. And that's what this movie is all about. You're gonna see a lot of Michael Bay elements, a lot of stuff from the previous movies, but overall this is a pretty nice callback to the first movie. We see Bumblebee transform, and this is our first look at the new Bumblebee. Now something I should mention here is that this Bumblebee is ridiculously small. Now this is due to his vehicle mode being, you know, very small. And if I had to guess, I would say that he's probably smaller than the twins Skid and Mothra from Revenge of the Fallen, which let's be thankful that they're not canon anymore. But he's so small he can enter a garage. I would say he's almost the size of Mohawk from Transformers 5. And he's not the only one that's slightly smaller. We're gonna skip right now further to the trailer and see Starscream. Now this Starscream is actually pretty small, and that's because the jets back then, they were a little smaller. Not that we know how the Transformers are basically gonna be in this film. They're not gonna over exaggerate like the Bay movies and have some of them be a lot taller than they actually should be and stuff. There's not gonna be a lot of mass shifting of, you know, small Transformers turning into giant ones, or giant ones turning into really small vehicles or objects. Which I'm really happy for that, because it keeps the element of robots in disguise, and it makes scaling more accurate and fun. But something that I also noticed from this is that the fights in here are gonna be more intense, and Bumblebee is basically gonna be an underdog. Starscream, a jet, is huge compared to this tiny Bumblebee. He's basically a bug at this point. And also, this Bumblebee seems to be afraid of, you know, Charlie, our main character. This is very different from the typical depiction of Bumblebee we get, you know, of this overconfident Autobot that, you know, has a lot of courage and he's always willing to jump into action. This is kind of like a scared child, which I'm actually pretty interested. I'm not gonna lie, like, I think this could be a cool concept, seeing the rise of Bumblebee go from this scared child to this all-out badass. So we get this one shot of Bumblebee running through the forest. At the beginning, I was thinking he was being chased down by Sector 7, we'll go to them later. But looking back at the scene where Starscream transforms and he has his like gun/missiles things ready, I think he's being chased by Starscream. If Bumblebee were to fight against Sector 7, I think that he will most likely win and not run away. But in this part, he's not carrying Charlie like we later see him do when he's, you know, when he's fleeing from Sector 7. So I'm guessing that at this part of the movie he's fighting Starscream. Which, I might add, this is the first time we have ever seen Bumblebee fight Starscream in the movies. In the first movie, Starscream just shot at Bumblebee once. In the second movie, they didn't even really fight. Because I don't think that in any of the Transformers movies, the Michael Bay ones, did we ever see a Bumblebee versus Starscream fight. So this should be really interesting. Now, in this one scene, we see this factory or bay, whatever it is, and we see Charlie jumping into the water to try and rescue Bumblebee or something. Now, I believe that this scene happens towards the end of the film, and this is that one big fight scene that almost every Transformers movie has. It seems to me that this movie is also gonna have it, since we see Bumblebee catch a helicopter later on, and we see tons of explosions. Now, I don't think that this is the result of Bumblebee fighting Sector 7, the human organization that's after him. I think this is due to Bumblebee fighting the Decepticons. Also, my belief for thinking that this is probably gonna be the last fight scene in the movie is because Charlie jumps in to rescue Bumblebee or try to help him. Now, I don't know what a little girl will do to try and help a giant robot, but they must be like BFFs at this point. You know, the relationship must have improved like dramatically, so for her to jump in to try and rescue him. So that's why I'm thinking that maybe at this point this could be the end of the film, the final battle. Something I feel I should mention is that in some scenes the CGI seems kinda out there. It doesn't look very polished, very good. That's because there's not anything new. For every Transformers movie, at least most of them, like Age of Extinction is a good example, people were complaining that the CGI looked out of place, it didn't look that good. And that was because the movie is still in production. At this point they're doing reshoots to improve the movie. And don't panic, reshoots happen to every movie, Star Wars even has them. But I'm just saying this because people are gonna be like, oh, the CGI looks awful or something, just in case. It's gonna change when the movie gets released, okay? Same thing happened with The Last Night in Age of Extinction. When the first trailers got released, some of the CGI looked a little meh here and there. But when the movie came out, some scenes look completely different. They look really polished and stuff. So don't worry, this is just an early production. This is not the final product. Earlier, I talked about Sector 7 and how they're basically back. Now, it's really hard to tell in the trailer if they're gonna be like the antagonists of the film or if they're gonna be like the reluctant allies of Bumblebee. Now, Sector 7 appeared in the first Transformers movie, and they were kind of the antagonists and later turned allies for the Autobots. I'm thinking the same thing might happen here, but now you're probably thinking, but dude, you said this was a soft reboot, then why are they here? Well, soft reboots often have elements from the previous franchises and stuff, so that's nothing new. It's like saying, hey, I thought there was an X-Men reboot, why are the X-Men here? Because the X-Men are just part of the mythos, there's nothing you can change about that. It's like saying, let's reboot the X-Men but without Wolverine. Or let's reboot Transformers but let's not have any Transformers, or let's not have Bumblebee or Autobots or Decepticons. So Sector 7 being here, it doesn't really mean much. It's like something to connect us to the first movie, to tell us that we're going for a more first movie feel and stuff. But yeah, if you can't tell, John Cena is in there, and it's really hard to tell if they're gonna be enemies or allies. But I don't think John Cena's gonna be a bad guy. I think him and Sector 7 are basically gonna be like an antagonistic force at the very beginning, but then over the course of the film they're gonna turn into allies. Much like in the Iron Giant, where the human military at the beginning wanted to destroy the Iron Giant, but then they became like allies towards the end. And we need to remember that this movie is not being directed by Michael Bay, but it's being directed by Travis Knight. So I have confidence in him that he's gonna do a great job. Okay, so this is the part where we have plenty of G1 fans wetting their pants. Starscream's back, and in a more G1-ish design. So if you didn't believe this was a reboot before, look, does this look anything like that movie Starscream? He doesn't even have the Dorito legs, at least I think he doesn't. It's really hard to look at his legs, but it doesn't look like he has the Dorito legs, which it's a plus in my opinion. And also, he actually has a face right now. He actually has a face, not like that weird insect-like face thing he had in the Michael Bay movies. So in this scene, I think he's chasing Bumblebee. I mean, he's definitely chasing something because, you know, he's taking out his missile gun or whatever. We still don't know if Starscream's gonna be the main antagonist of the film. He very well could be because we got plenty of teasers to him since the days of the last night. So it could be possible, but still, seeing this Starscream resembling his G1 counterpart, it's a much welcome change from the Michael Bay one. And I really can't wait to see him on the film. Okay, so speaking of Starscream, something that's really prevalent in this trailer is that there's a lack of Transformers. We have only seen Bumblebee and Starscream. Now, those are not the only two Transformers we will see in this movie, but we also have the Red Decepticon, which is rumored to be a female. We have Barricade, who was recently confirmed to appear in the movie, and we have a cameo appearance of Optimus Prime. But I think it's just gonna be narration and he's not gonna be a part of the film. But this movie is probably gonna have the least amount of Transformers in it. So with Bumblebee being the main focus and us having at least 3 antagonists, 3 Decepticons, I think they will each get the spotlight at least once in the film. This is also due to the movie having a lower budget than the first movie, but this is not really a bad thing, this could be a good thing. Because the less budget you have, the more creative you're gonna have to get. Like, you cannot just waste money on random action scenes, and I think Travis Knight knows this. So in this movie, we're not gonna see a lot of Transformers, but what little Transformers we see, they're gonna have a lot of time to shine. I can guarantee you that. Now here we have the possible return of Starforce. We haven't seen Bumblebee have any weapons in the film, like his famous ion cannon that he has in the Michael Bay movies. But in here we see him transform like part of his vehicle mode to grab onto this railing. You might call this Starforce or not Starforce, but to me I like to call it a Starforce, or at least a partial version of it. This is similar to what happened in the last night when Bumblebee was being chased by Barricade. He activated his Starforce and shot Barricade. So we're probably gonna see a similar thing here. But regardless, it's still a nice callback to the last night and Dark of the Moon. Bumblebee's battle mask looks more like a bee, and I'm actually kinda happy for that. I really like his new battle mask. It looks a lot like his Age of Extinction battle mask, but it still looks unique enough. I really like it. Speaking of his battle mask, Bumblebee's face still looks a lot like his Michael Bay counterpart, and I just want to address this right now that Bumblebee is a pretty iconic pop culture, you know, character. Like, kids know Bumblebee, adults know Bumblebee. The reason why they decided to keep his face the same is because it's iconic, it's marketable, people recognize it. Instead of overhauling his face and changing it to be a little unrecognizable, it would be like basically having Superman, instead of wearing blue, wearing red. Or wearing red or black or something different. Something less recognizable. I just wanted to address that before any of you ask why he still looks like the Michael Bay Bumblebee, just because of that. Okay, so for the ending shot of the trailer, we see Bumblebee, and he's pretty damaged. I'm guessing this happens after the Starscream fight, or maybe he's fighting Sector 7. I don't know which one is it, but right next to him we see like a military vehicle, a Sector 7-ish vehicle. I'm guessing here that Starscream shows up, starts killing the humans, and Bumblebee tries to save them by fighting Starscream. And then John Cena, Agent Burns, you know, his character name. He's gonna be like, maybe this guy's not so bad. They're gonna become, you know, like best buds by the end of the film. Like, that's my guess of what's happening here, because we do see that Sector 7 vehicle like right next to it. I'm still really interested to see what his relationship with Sector 7 is gonna be in the film. So this Bumblebee doesn't talk, or you know, speak, cause I mean his voice box was crushed. Now at the ending shot we have, you know, Charlie trying to teach Bumblebee how to speak to the radio, much like he does in the previous Michael Bay movies. I think this is kind of a cute moment, just seeing Bumblebee, like, you know, learn how to speak. It's like I said at the beginning, it's like a scared child going from this, you know, child to become this badass. And I think that's an amazing concept for a story. especially since I have mentioned before, I'm not the biggest Bumblebee fan, but this movie actually could make me like Bumblebee. I'm like meh about Bumblebee, but this movie could change that. I actually really like the story. It's kind of like the hero's journey, but instead it's just Bumblebee trying to become a man, and that's the feel I'm getting from this. But yeah guys, there's a lot of elements like very similar to the Michael Bay universe. If that's a good thing or a bad thing to you, let me know in the comments down below. Honestly, I thought the trailer was perfect. I love it. It's like yesterday I put up a video talking about what we can expect, and it's almost all I expected. Well, we didn't get to see Barricade or the female Decepticon, which I'm a bit upset. But expect more trailers and teasers to be revealed throughout the year. The movie does come in December, so we still have a long time to go and speculate. But this first trailer, it did a good job. The G1 looks just like I predicted. The more Iron Giant kind of feel, just like I predicted. The first movie feel brilliant. And I didn't expect Bumblebee to be like the scared child, but I really like that. And Sector 7 looks interesting. And so far Sector 7 is looking very interesting to me. I just hope they do a better job with them that Michael Bay did. Michael Bay is still somewhat involved in the production, but Travis Knight is the one who has the final word. And I believe that he's gonna do an amazing job with this movie. But let me know your comments down below guys. I'm really interested in hearing them. And I will see you guys in the next video. I might make part 2 of this if more stuff gets revealed or if I miss something, so don't worry. Anyways, bye guys. Alright guys, so Patron shout goes to Libero Marufo, Sachin Morag, and Trans Theories. I'm sorry to keep your segment short, but this video has gone on for long enough and I want to keep it as short as I can. So if you guys are watching this, you can donate to my Patreon. Link's gonna be in the description down below. Make sure to check out my Patreon's YouTube channel, Trans Theories. He makes Transformers videos just like me. Hopefully you guys will enjoy his content, and by $1 a month you will get a shout out in all of my videos, and if you have a YouTube channel, I'll shout you out. Thank you guys for donating, and if any of you guys are interested, links will be in the description down below to my Patreon if you guys want to donate to me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.